Well, I think we both work in the field of children's literature because we're really proud of our culture and want to share Latino stories with children. My first children's book with Rafael was about Celia Cruz. My name is Celia, me llamo Celia, La vida de Celia Cruz, the life of Celia Cruz, and we teamed up, and I couldn't have picked a more amazing artist to represent and reinterpret my words for children.
You know, working with Monica has always been fun, and I consider myself very lucky because most people never really get to know each other, illustrators and authors. And
They're kept separate sometimes, for good reason, but in this case, not necessary.
But it turned out that fortunately we became really good friends. And she's right, it's the fact that we are going out there. The most fun part about working on a project like this is that eventually you get to have contact one-on-one with children, you know, mostly minorities, but the idea is to really just send the message across that it's wonderful to be Latino, it's wonderful to express your differences and your uniqueness. And I do it with my paint. I do a lot of research, I do a lot of like textural stuff, I get a lot of inspiration from the place where I come from, which is Mexico. And I'm sure for you it's the same thing, huh?
Yes, I'm definitely inspired by my Peruvian American heritage and my time spent in Peru. And my mother, who's my greatest inspiration, another artist, which is probably why I have a special respect and admiration for great artists like Rafael, because I grew up surrounded by amazing colors and textures. And like Rafael, when I was researching Celia, and in this case Tito, the king of salsa, the king of mambo, I surrounded myself with not only images of him playing and recordings, because he was really dynamic, but his music. And the more I learned about his life, the more I wanted to tell his story, which is a remarkable story. He was born in the barrio, born at Harlem Hospital, and paid, I think, 25 cents for each drum lesson in his early life, which is pretty amazing, and ended up contributing to the most amazing new music, a music that blended so many cultures and rhythms.
Yeah, I guess he's considered like the godfather of salsa, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, he started way before that.
A lot of titles, the king of mambo, you know.
And look at his legacy. I mean, he continues to be a very strong legacy in so many of the artists of today, and obviously and hopefully for future generations to come. For me, is the whole process of getting to know him, getting to really familiarize myself with the subject, in this case Tito, before it was Celia, and then developing the whole story like a movie making. You know, I put up all these sketches on my wall, and I change it, and I pick it, and I move them around. And I want every piece to be very, very unique and stand on their own. I don't want it to just be taken apart and they don't stand on their own. They have to have their own validity. So that's the challenging part, but it's very, very fun though. And then the fun part of actually picking up the wood and picking up the right texture and then choosing the right colors. All of that is just adding fun to the whole process.
And it's interesting for me, and I knew that Rafael was the right artist for this. So when I wrote, to know, because on each page I try to offer some illustratable action, not just a repeated image, or, you know, children want to turn the page and see what happens next. And so that part of it is really exciting to me. How do you represent movement through language? And what's interesting is I also sometimes think of children's books as poems, because that language is distilled. You don't have that many words to share the story you're going to share, or even like a song. And so I often have refrains or a chorus or echoes on different pages that children can return to. So I actually worked with a musician to get a really simple refrain, toom tick a tack tick, toom tick tom tom, that Rafael actually painted on the page in some cases, which was really fun too.
So should we work on a third book? What do you say?
Yeah, who's next?
I don't know. Let's find out. But there's got to be some dancing.
I think I need to write about Rafael Lopez next.